Okay guys, welcome back to Trend Grounds review video. Alright, so I'm Yaken here today. Alright, so basically I think you have saw the title up there somewhere and maybe below. Okay, so what I have here today is a Gigabyte Radeon RX 5500 XT gaming OC with 8 GB of RAM. Okay, so a little bit details on this graphic card here. Okay, so uh, as you know, it's based on the AMD Radeon RX 5500 XT. The RAM, 8 GB GDDR6 128-bit memory interface, and then what is unique with this is also the fan system as well. As you can see, is equipped with the WindForce 3X cooling system with alternate spinning fans. Yes, it has alternate spinning fans. uh, we'll talk a little bit more on that later on. Okay, and this thing has also RGB lighting as well. Comes with RGB Fusion 2, so you can select like 16.7 million colors to synchronize with your other Aorus devices. Okay, and then here, this guy here, alright, is equipped with a protection back plate. It's very sturdy. Okay, and last but not least, this thing comes with PCIe 4.0 support. Okay, so if you have a very good motherboard right now that supports PCIe 4.0, yes, this thing gonna optimize it and give you much more performance as well. So a little bit on the core clock on this GPU. Alright, so it has a boost clock up to 1845 megahertz. Okay, for the game clock, alright, so Gigabyte is actually rating it, it pushes 1737 megahertz. Alright, so the reference card is actually, if you are using the reference base card, it's only pushing out at 1717 megahertz. Alright, so coming back to the fan cooling system as well. So basically, what Gigabyte has said, they are actually making sure the fan, these two side fans, they are rotating at the same angle, you know, while the middle part, it will turn the other way around. So this alternate spinning here, it will help to make sure the flow of the cards, it will direct go up, go down somewhere here. Alright, something like that. Alright, I will hook up the link of this product here, which Gigabyte will properly explain it. So basically what it does is actually really helps the air to dissipate much more better. Okay, so for this card, alright, Gigabyte also say that their heat pipes is actually directly touching the GPU, so this will actually transfer a lot of the heat away and also give a much proper cooling solution as well. Alright, so now let's talk about the gaming performance of this graphic card. Okay, so the first game I'm going to talk is Fortnite. Alright, so I do notice that if you are playing in Fortnite with this graphic card, alright, make sure to set the game settings to high. Don't set it to very high. You will encounter the frames to be like hovering around like 60 to 80 frames per second at certain environment. To make sure to be consistent, keeping hitting the high frame rates per second, set it into high. High settings is very good for this game. Alright, as you can see, I'm playing right here right now in Fortnite. Okay, look at the temperatures. The cooler is really amazing. Never ever hit 70 degrees Celsius at all. And look at the frame rates per second is pumping. Look at the average, the max frames per second. Totally amazing. The stats is amazing for this mid-range card. I think it's really performing Wow. Alright, so moving on to the next game is Ghost Recon Wildlands. Alright, so this game is quite intensive and I purposely set it to high presets. Okay, so as you can see during the benchmark here, I'm only actually testing the benchmark here. Okay, as you can see again, the temperature doesn't even reach 70 degrees Celsius, which I think is phenomenal for this graphic card, and it managed to hover around like 70 frames per second, but most of the time is hovering above 60 frames per second, which is amazing. This game is actually quite taxing on the graphic card. As you can see, the usage is already reaching a lot, like more than 90% of the time. Well, the final scores for this benchmark on the Ghost Recon Wildlands, uh, frame rates per second 65.79. Yeah, I think it's really performed well, you know, for being a mid-range graphic card. Okay, so now let's move on to another new game. This is the Grand Theft Auto 5. As you can see, the settings are being set on a very high and high mixture. Okay, so when you go over to the benchmark, right, you do notice that again, look at the temperatures of the graphic card. Never ever hit more than 70 degrees Celsius. Okay, and it's being properly fully utilized. Look at that, it's hovering around the 90 plus each frames per second, which again, amazing, perform really amazing. Okay, so moving over to the Final Fantasy 15 for Windows. Alright, so I have make sure the settings are being set to high. Alright, frame rates per second, I make sure it's only caps out at 120 frames per second. Okay, so we are going to jump over to the gameplay scene. Alright, so as you can see during the battle here, alright, the frame is slightly jumping a little bit. Okay, but again, look at the temperatures here again and the utilization of the graphic card as well. Okay, so this game is quite taxing on the graphic card. As you can see, occasionally it could dip to like 40 frames per second. So if you want that consistent 60 frames per second on your PC, alright, make sure to maybe set it to medium settings. I think medium settings would generally help a lot the Final Fantasy 15 title. Uh, it will help you maintain that 60 frames per second smoothness. Alright guys, so you have watched the performance of this graphic card. So let's talk a little bit on this graphic card. So the price currently selling in Malaysia is 1,198 ringgit Malaysia. Okay, overall I'm very impressed with the cooling solution on this graphic card. This gaming OC version made by Gigabyte. Okay, and when you purchase, make sure to get the 8GB version. Alright, there's another variant that has a 4GB of RAM that will cost much cheaper, but for me I would say try to get more RAM in the GPU if you are planning to use it in what, maybe say another extra 3 to 5 years time period. Okay, uh, game performance, as you can see just now, all the frames per second is amazing. Even at high setting, it can like maintain that 60 frames per second quite well. Maybe perhaps on the Final Fantasy 15 you can see like there are some dips, so you need to reduce the game settings there in order to achieve the smooth 60 frames per second on the 1080 display. Well, generally, again, like I say, I really love this graphic card. Really good photos. Uh, I would generally say this graphic card is more targeted towards the people that is looking for a budget-friendly graphic cards. If you are today you're looking for a graphic card and you have a budget of like 1,200 ringgit to 1,500 ringgit, yeah, maybe you should get this one, today, and it's really performed exceptionally well. Okay, so a little bit on the downside. Uh, Not so much of a downside, because since this is a mid-range card and it can run a lot of the game, mostly I would say is the price, because at 1,200 ringgit, the competition out there is currently right now dropping a lot of their prices on their older models as well. And also right now the RX 6000 series is coming out soon as well, so this would be also one of the bad thing if you want to get it right now. So maybe you perhaps wait up until like the RX 6000 series are being launched, and then you get this a much bargainable discount deal. Okay, so that is just only my main qualm, my personal opinion on the cons of getting this graphic card right now. Okay, but hey, if you are not that kind of person that chase the latest GPU, then hey, this is the graphic card for you. Alright, especially if you're looking for graphic card that is costing like 1,200 ringgit to 1,500 ringgit price range, you should consider this. Alright, so there you have it. I closing off this video. Alright, so I definitely going to recommend you to go ahead and buy it. If you are those kind of people that is looking for a 1,500 ringgit and below graphic card, you should really consider and purchase one today and game on with this AMD graphic card. Alright, so special thanks to AMD Malaysia for loaning this GPU. Alright, this review video is not a paid review, so I don't usually do a paid review. All this review, the cons, the pros of this GPU is mainly on my own sole opinion. AMD has no influence in my review video. Okay, so make sure you guys understand that. And if you're still new to my channel, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, give a thumbs up, like, drop a comment, and I see you guys on the next